Hello everybody, this is Lisa and this is the Good to Great Cooking channel. Thank you very much for stopping by my channel today. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe on the button below so that you can become a part of our community here where we learn tips and tricks on how to take our good cooking and make it great cooking. On today's episode, we are going to be making deviled eggs. So that might seem like very simple, but it isn't always, because sometimes boiling eggs can be tricky. There's a small, very, very thin line between an undercooked yolk and then an overcooked green yolk with a rubbery white. So we're going to talk about boiling eggs today, and then we're going to use those eggs and we are going to make deviled eggs. A couple of tips that I just want to share with you to get started. This might sound weird, but your best peeling of your boiled eggs will come from eggs that are a few days old. This is not the time to have your freshest eggs, okay? So you want to boil eggs that maybe you've had them for a week or so. They will peel so much easier. To boil eggs, you need very little to accomplish this. You need eggs, which I have right here, and then you're going to need a big pot. You want your pot to be large enough for however many eggs you're going to put in there. You want them to all have room to move around a little bit, because once the boiling starts, eggs will start to shimmy, and what you don't want is for them to shimmy into each other violently and crack, because then you will have kind of a mess in your pot. So make sure that your pot is big enough for however many eggs you are going to boil, okay? I'm going to be boiling 10 eggs today. So I'm just going to take my eggs, I'm going to put them in my pot. Yes, you do put the eggs into the pot before you put water into the pot. Okay, so I've got 10 eggs in here. Now I'm going to take this pot over to the sink and I'm going to fill it with water to just about a ½ inch above the eggs. You don't want to fill this thing up with water. First of all, that's going to take too long to come to a complete boil. And in that meantime, you're going to overcook your eggs. You also don't want it down here, because then you have eggs getting boiled from here down and nothing happening up here. You're going to have a crazy, inconsistently cooked boiled egg. Okay, you can see here, I have filled up my pot with the water. It's just a little bit above where my eggs are. I am going to turn the eye on, and I'm going to turn that up to high, because the first thing that I want to do is get a rolling boil on my eggs. As soon as it starts to come to a boil, I'll show you what to do next. As you can see, the eggs are they've just started what we call a rolling boil. So at this point, the fire gets turned off underneath the eggs. You put a lid on it and you set a timer for 15 minutes. My 15-minute timer has gone off, so my eggs are ready to be rinsed and then peeled. So now here is my pot of boiled eggs. They are still in water, but this is cold water. It's actually warm water now because the eggs are still hot. Eggs peel better when they are still warm. So that's another tip that I want to share with you. Peel your eggs as soon as they are done boiling. I've got my pot of boiled eggs there. Here is just a jelly cutting board and a layer of paper towel. So here is how I go about peeling these boiled eggs. Okay, so I take the egg out of the water, shake it off a little bit, but this paper towel is designed to catch any excess water. So I apologize for this noise, but it is definitely noisy when you're doing this. All you're trying to do is crack up that shell quite a bit, and this one looks like it's going to work perfectly. All boiled eggs usually end up with a little gap in here, okay? So you want to start at that gap, and then you should be able to just get all of that peel off. Okay, the really good ones come off in just like one big strip, and I love that. This one's not doing that, but it's doing okay. Okay, so you just gently kind of peel that off, and then you've got a peeled boiled egg. Now, while I'm peeling eggs, I always just keep them in the water. So I put them back on there. That also helps to get off any, you know, little cracked shells or anything like that. So then I will just go on to the next one. Do the same thing, get it cracked up. Rolling it helps it crack as well. There's one spot that refuses to crack, so I'm gonna go back in. Oh, there we go. We got this one. Now this one looks like it's gonna try to give me a little bit of trouble, so I'm gonna do this one on camera so you can see. Yeah, it looks like this one's a little bit tighter. Okay, what that might mean is that this one has already started to cool quite a bit. It doesn't feel like it though, but it is a little bit more challenging, but it's still working. Okay, so you just have to be patient with it and not get really frustrated, because then you'll start digging into your egg and you'll have big gaps and holes in it. Okay, but it did okay. It tried to give me a little bit of trouble, but it's not bad. You see it has a little, I don't know if you can see that little ding right there, but it's still usable, still good shape. Okay, back into the bath that it goes. So I'll continue to do that until I have all 10 eggs. All of the eggs have been peeled. They have been just kind of patted dry, so there's no water sitting underneath them in this little tray. And now I'm going to cap these with the lid, and I will store these in the refrigerator until I'm ready to use them. As mentioned, today's recipe is deviled eggs. A simple recipe, a picnic favorite. It's often made for holidays such as Easter. I think there are some cultures that even have them at Christmas and maybe Thanksgiving. We always have them at picnics in my family. So this is my mom's recipe that she has given me long time ago. I have no measurements for it, so I'm going to do my best to come up with what the measurements might be like, and I will document it. And as usual, the recipe will be linked at the bottom in the first comment. Okay, here are the ingredients for my deviled eggs. I've got pickle relish, a little Dijon mustard, mayo, salt and pepper, sweet paprika, and that's just really for the garnish on top. Okay, the equipment you're going to need is just a bowl to mix up your filling with and a knife to cut your eggs open. Okay. Now we've got our egg halves in there and all of our egg yolks in here. And here is where you're going to add in your other ingredients to make the filling. Now that we've got our mixture all ready, we've got our egg halves sitting in the tray, ready to be filled. It's time to get this mixture in here, okay? The way I do that is with a piping bag. Yes, a baker's piping bag is what I use to fill my deviled eggs. So in order for me to fill a piping bag without a bunch of drama, I always take a tumbler, put the bag in there, pull it over the top. So this is basically my piping bag holder. Okay, so I set that there, and then I just get one of those rubber spatulas and scoop my mix in there. Now I pull this up. Right over there. Okay. And then I'm going to just push this down into the point. Sorry, I'm out of frame. Into the point of the piping bag. And then, of course, I'm going to cut that. And I'll be able to pipe this filling onto the eggs. Okay. So I have my scissors here. Just going to cut a hole. You don't want a large hole. You just want it to be large enough for your filling to come out. I'm going to do it over there so that piece of plastic doesn't fall on my eggs. Okay. And then you push it down. Yeah, and that's the perfect size. About right like that. They're filling inside them. I am going to take, and I use sweet paprika. You can use smoked if you prefer, but just for this, I like sweet paprika. It's more of a garnish than anything else, but it will impart a little bit of flavor. So you just want to do a little sprinkle across the top. Okay. And there you have your deviled eggs. These are so yummy. I hope that you try them and enjoy them, and I hope that your family enjoys them as well. Thanks again for joining me today. And if you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button below.